Greetings everyone, this is Connor from DagoraTV, and in this video is actually kind of one that's been a little bit demanded by a few of the people watching the channel. It's me talking about really the Elder Scrolls Online and kind of my journey with the game and things like that. And the reason I did it because I actually received a few tweets and a few direct messages from people asking me to, make it, to kind of elaborate a bit more on what I really said in the One Tamriel video that I made last week. And I thought, why not? Because there was a comment as well, about the interpretation of the game when the game came out and things like that. So I thought I'd kind of share my experience a little bit. And the reason why originally, I'll start from the beginning with it all, why I was kind of interested in the game was really because, I've played a lot of Skyrim, played a lot of Oblivion. I was really into the world of it all. I was a big fan of the series, and hearing the announcement of the game and how it's just going to be on PC. And at the time, I didn't have a PC, didn't have an extra console, obviously, because when the game was announced, it wasn't out yet. I just had my 360. That's where I played my games, and kind of didn't think that the game was really going to happen for me until I was kind of doing the odd bit of Googling search here and there and things like that. And people knew that that I did play my fair share of PC games. I did play World of Warcraft, things like that, but that game you could run on a toaster. But hearing, a new game come out, of it being on computer, I knew that my friends wasn't really going to be on it, and things like that, then I just knew that I wasn't really going to have a good time with the game if I was going to be like that. If it was going to be, something I can't play it on, I'm not be able to get a machine to play it on. If it's just going to come for PC, because I'm not going to get a new PC, I'm just going to keep my console, was my attitude at the time. I'm not going to have fun with them. So I kind of just put it in the back of my mind until really it was like hearing that you could play the game with your friends, and rumours of it being coming out onto the console and things like that, onto newer consoles. And I was always already thinking of getting a new console. That I did think that maybe there was a potential for me to kind of be interested in the game. So I just kept looking up little bits of information here and there. My friend George, who's a co-host of the GDM podcast, will be talking, to me, would talk about the game and about Skyrim and Oblivion and things like that, and then, talk about the possibility for Elder Scrolls Online, being able to play it together and things like that, and looking up little bits of news and, hearing news that coming out saying that, you're going to be able to play the game on a 5-year laptop was something that was confirmed by Paul Sage. And I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, this could be something I could actually, definitely play and, be interested in. I'm interested in the world. I'm definitely going to, give this a go if it's playable. And then having a friend to play it with as well is something that, I'll be definitely interested in doing. And then, hearing more news come out about it, and things like that. And especially when E3, when it was announced for the consoles, because originally I was going to get on a PlayStation 4. When it was announced, because me and my friend were definitely going to get one, and it was delayed until 2014 at the time. I was thinking, right, cool, we can get this game now, we can get it on the console, all aboard the hype train, and then it was more like a daily or a bi-daily thing, checking news all the time for Elder Scrolls Online, seeing interviews, watching videos, hearing things like that. Me and my friend George were talking about it all the time. I was very excited for to play the game, because it was really the first major release that me and someone else could kind of get excited over, which sounds weird, but it kind of was true. I was kind of really interested in playing the game and talking about it a lot, and dying to get into that beta, and we could never get into the beta. And then, we found out, the game was going to be playable at Eurogamer, the Eurogamer convention in September 2014, and this was my 2013, sorry, and this was my first Eurogamer that we went to, and so we could play the game, play the new consoles, things like that. We went down there, we ran immediately to the Elder Scrolls Online booth, played the game, and the game then was in a very kind of Elder Scrolls-y state. I don't know if you know too much about what really happened in the beta of the game, but it kind of fluctuated, it kind of being like a more of an Elder Scrolls kind of style to an MMO kind of style. And the time that we played it then was very much in the Elder Scrolls kind of style focus, especially what the area that we played as. And after that, I was really, was excited to play the game and things like that, but I was sold from that point. I was in, I was really looking at news at another level then. I was really, kind of getting it to a point of really dissecting every bit of information, trying to find out all I could about the game, things like that. I was really into it, I was really excited, and so was my friend George as well, and we were all ready, to go, and followed news heavily until we started the YouTube channel end of that year, which was partially, Elder Scrolls Online was really the start focus for that. It was really when I kind of really started watching YouTube videos a lot. I think my friend George, he had his try channels in the past, and it was something I always wanted to do. And talking about Elder Scrolls Online and things like that, and being ready for the game was something that we planned. We planned to do a lot of content around Elder Scrolls Online and things like that around when the game came out. So we made the channel. We had a series called ESO Sunday, which was one of the more successful series at that time. We had a lot of crap on the channel, which you're not going to be able to find anymore, because it's privatised and deleted and so on. But there was a lot of crap, and Elder Scrolls Online was stuff that was getting more views. It was that and a series that you can watch on the channel still called SOM Weekly. We talked about Shadow and Mordor and Lord of the Rings and things like that, which were getting views, and, you know, kind of the regular conversation about Elder Scrolls Online and watching stuff about it and being part of the community really got me excited. And something why I've always said that I enjoyed being part of that kind of, not hype train, but part of that community in the build-up of it, because it was fun to be a part of. And then we able to get access to the beta, and the beta that we played then was kind of, you know, a lot of the time we wasn't really able to get that much gameplay into it because of the kind of technical limitations of the beta. You know, it crashed a lot. I did play quite a bit of time into it as well into the beta, and you could say, you know, you played the game there, maybe you wasn't into it too much, but I wasn't taking part in the story. I was skipping every little bit of quest, and I actually enjoyed the combat. And the stuff I didn't enjoy about the game, I went straight into the feedback area of the beta forums and just basically let them know what I thought of the game. And it wasn't, it was something, you know, I still had, you know, I was kind of enjoying it a bit, you know, and I felt like, you know, the stuff that I was going to find best with, you know, the PvP, the dungeons and stuff like that, and actually taking part in the story is something that I really could, you know, enjoy. But I was playing it in long sessions, you know, and I had a great time, you know, even the little bit of PvP that I dabbled with, I was kind of like, still kind of excited for the game, and it kind of didn't falter it at all. I know it followed it for a lot of people, but not for me. And then when the game came out, got it early, played through the game, and I was listening to the story of it all, and kind of really tried to play like an Elder Scrolls game instead of running around the area, really trying to check things out and, you know, just combating around the area and things like that. I tried to play like an Elder Scrolls game, and then when I felt really restricted in that, you know, I felt, you know, it was really kind of enclosed to the area, and then seeing stuff, you know, like the faction, you know, paying to play in any alliance and things like that, the horse being sold in the cash shop, which, you know, people at the time was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's only the horse. But, you know, playing the game and seeing that you could only get 1 or 2 gold per enemy that you could get, to really try and lower the amount of gold that you can get, so to kind of force you in a way to buy that stuff. And the shady business practices of ZeniMax Media Incorporated and Bethesda Softworks in particular really kind of sent me the wrong way. You know, I didn't really enjoy it, you know, and it was daily kind of a thing that I was kind of turning sour every time that I was playing it. I was playing it for shorter periods. I was taking days away from the game. My friend was asking me if you want to play it anymore, and I was like, no. And then when it got to the time, you know, to renew my subscription fee, I just didn't do it. You know, I was like, I decided against it. I wasn't enjoying my time with the game. It felt very odd to me. You know, the story was fine, but it's just, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I always said, like, you know, the game had potential, you know, the fact that, you know, there was good parts of the game, you know, with the class system, the PvP was a lot of fun, the dungeons were great, the dungeon that I did in the game was a lot of fun. It was just that I didn't like to be restricted. I actually wanted to play the game with my friends, and you couldn't do that in the game at that point, you know, with the phase. And the game was terrible at launch. It had a really bad launch, you know, and it was very, very different to the game that we played at Eurogamer. You know, it was very much more kind of, it was in this weird place, you know, that you couldn't really play with your friends at points, but, you know, it was kind of like trying to be an MMO as well, and it was kind of an awkward stance to be in, when it could have tried to, it should have tried to embrace both sides, and it didn't really do that. Kind of hiding away from some key areas of it and everything. I think a big point of that is, you know, the single player idea. You know, when you try and say, if you've got 4 people in an area that you've got to heal, you go to the person, you heal them, and then, you know, it would, you know, get up and go back to the area. And that would, you know, happen in an MMO, you know, if it happened for you, it wouldn't happen for everyone else. You know, we're using phasing technology. A big idea for this is World of Warcraft or Lotro. Say if you pick up a plant, the plant would still be there for another player. Didn't happen in the Elder Scrolls Online, so playing with friends was kind of like really punished in a way. Or playing with a lot of people was punished, and that's not what I wanted. So I kind of turned my back on the game. I kind of kept my eye on it though, but I didn't really want to play it. But I kept, you know, kind of looking, you know, really kind of being nostalgic about, you know, the community and everything like that. So I do still kind of partake in the community a little bit, you know, talking a little bit about, you know, my thoughts and things like that. And then, you know, a year later, they announced that they were bringing the game into, you know, Tamriel Unlimited, you know, a new area for the game, you know, and kind of like a re-release. We went back into the game, and then still on PC at this point, you know, and George had a new PC at this point, because he said that was the biggest problem with the game, the graphical fidelity, and, you know, how poor this PC was running the game. My laptop did alright, you know, like my laptop ran it okay, you know, on medium graphics, around about, you know, just below 30 frames per second. I could deal with that though, you know, it wasn't a big problem. I probably wouldn't be able to deal with it now, but back then I could. And you know, we went back into playing the game. We played around about 7-8 levels. And it just felt the same, and I was just like, you know, it's quicker to level, but that's not what I want again. You know, it's like I'll come back, you know, when they announce stuff that I want, and then there was announced stuff like, you know, the new, you know, DLC packages like the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild, you know, the Imperial City and things like that. And I was just like, you know, this is a step in the right direction. And people, I was hearing more and more comments of like, you know, I left this game at launch and I've come back and this is better now. And I just kept hearing that, you know, from, you know, every so often. And, you know, it's like the kind of thing, you know, when you hear it once, you hear it so many times over and over again. And it was kind of getting into my mind again, you know, maybe we should, you know, dabble into the game again. This was about, you know, 7-8 months after Tamriel Unlimited launched. And then we decided to play the game when I got my new computer in the summer, you know, a few months ago. And we played the game there, and when we played it, it was definitely that feeling of, you know, it has improved. You know, it's definitely improved from what we played before. The combat's a lot tighter. The quest kind of feel more, you know, kind of it feels better to kind of get into it a little bit more. They did branch that area out a little bit more. You know, you could go into locations without having to have the quest and things like that. It was more open than what it was. Still not perfect, still not in the right way we played it, but playing it, you could play with your friends finally. You know, the fix the phasing completely, and playing it with a friend. I played it with George. You know, we had a really good time actually playing the game, and we had a lot of fun playing it. And it was something that, you know, then we went on a couple of trips, you know, 2 or 3 weeks off, and then more games came out, and I wanted to play more games on my new computer. That we kind of, you know, just kind of dropped out. And, you know, maybe, you know, that's a weak way of saying, you know, it didn't really pull us in, but, you know, that happens a lot of time with good games, you know, where people take a long break away from it, and they kind of forget where they were, and they feel like, you know, I want to try going to different things. So it wasn't really the game's immense fault at that point. It was kind of more us kind of falling away. And that was really, you know, something that we really wanted to, you know, we've said since then, you know, we're going to go back to it at some point, you know, jump back in. And then that really kind of went into gear, you know, when we heard Tamriel was announced, and we said, all right, we're going to wait to hear what it's like. So there was really something, you know, I said in the previous video, I wanted to see if that was something that was really going to be the Elder Scrolls Online experience that I really wanted. And judging by what people are saying is that they are. And I said to you in the video that I really want to, you know, experience the game, you know, as I want it to be. And I think that they've pretty much got that from hearing some of the impressions that we're getting, some of the comments in my video and the Reddit post that I put out, saying that it is now, you know, it is a really fun experience to play. And I think that's a really good thing. So we're waiting for my friend Nathan, you know, other co-host of the Juno podcast, to get his computer, get his PC, and then we're going to go in, the three of us, and play the game, and we're going to see what it's like. You know, we're going to see if it's for us, and if it's not what we want, if it's not really something that, you know, it doesn't even have to be that thing now, you know, that real solid Elder Scrolls experience that you can play with your friends. It doesn't even have to be that. It could just be something that is a fun game that I could just go into every couple of days, every few days, and just have a really good time with it. That's kind of the experience that I'm looking for, to be honest, now. And maybe, you know, partake in a guild every now and then and things like that. That's something that, you know, I really want to have fun with. And hopefully, you know, when we go back in a month's time or something like that, that is what it was going to be. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will, you know, probably be making, you know, videos around the Elder Scrolls Online when I'm giving it a go again, you know, playing it a little bit. I did a couple of Twitch streams back in the day when, you know, I could actually had the time to do them around the Elder Scrolls Online. They got a few views and a few feedback from the people as well. And I would like, you know, to definitely, you know, go ahead and, you know, stream Elder Scrolls Online again. It is just that thing of, you know, having the time to be able to, you know, say an area, you know, I'm going to stream at this time and things like that is something that I want to do in the future, but, you know, not until I actually am available to do it. So, thanks a lot for watching this video. Leave your comments on what your own experience with the Elder Scrolls Online. I'm actually looking forward to hearing other people's, you know, did you ever get to play the game before launch? What did you hear about the game? Did you find it interesting and things like that? Or what really kind of got you excited and what really let you down is what I'm wanting to hear. So please let me know what you think, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.